Hey guys, so this is a presentation that I gave back in February and it's still relevant because the case study that I'm about to give you guys is actually dated back 10 years ago. It's the subject on BRRRR, BRRRR. If I remember this correctly, it's to buy, rehab, rent, refi, and rinse and repeat, which is combining the last R plus house hacking. So that's how I started with buying real estate and really just scaling up. But I think it's a really good strategy to get your first house, okay, under your belt. Obviously, can you actually do this in a large scale? I don't think so, but there's actually a variation of that, okay, which I will talk about in one of the slides later. And the other thing is, can you actually do it in the coastal states like California, New York, these expensive states, right? The answer is yes. And actually, I'm coming from California. I reside in California. So if I can do it in California, you can do it everywhere else. All right. So let's just get started. Like I mentioned, BRRRR stands for buy, rehab, rent. Okay, consider house hacking here. Okay, that's how you get into the game of real estate, refi, and repeat. A little bit about myself. I had a PhD in computer science from UCLA. That was more than 10 plus years ago. After I got my PhD, I became an engineer in the Bay Area, making decent money over there. And I started wholesaling and flipping houses back in 2017. I was doing virtual wholesaling when I was a W-2 worker, engineer, while I was employed by Cisco and Oracle back then. And then I saw some success, so I quit my job and started flipping houses full time. That was back in 2017. When I was starting out, I was doing virtual wholesaling in Memphis, Tennessee. And then I just closed that operation and then just moved everything back into where I am right now, which is Sacramento, California. That's where I reside. That's my backyard. So I flip houses locally. I do about 24 houses a year. That was like my best record. That was in 2023. And we are always looking for fix-uppers. So ping me if you got any, and we would love to partner up with you. We buy from a lot of wholesalers, people who knock on these homeowners' doors and then bring deals to us. We also partner up with a lot of realtors, okay? That's how we get deals too, and we pay a referral fee, a finder's fee, so that you get fed as well, okay? And then if you're a realtor, not only do we pay you for your commission, buyer's commission, when the house is ready, we can also have you list the house for us, so you get the seller's commission from us as well. All right, so I'm also a short-term rental operator in Sacramento and Vegas. We have a very big portfolio and still expanding. Right now, we're just rebalancing the portfolio because of the current environment, which is not really conducive. The interest rate is way too high. The properties that are not performing well, we're basically just closing them out and just moving the money from the sale to different market. So we're shrinking in Sacramento, but we're expanding in Vegas. I am also a senior care residential assisted living operator. Okay, and I've done multifamily syndication. There were four cycles of these syndication deals, and there are 3 that's currently under management. Okay, I just recently bought a boutique hotel. It's a ranch-style hotel, with a 10-acre lot that's in Placer County. And I also run a thriving local meetup. It's called Flip This House and Networking Event. And please make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Insightful Real Estate Investment Buy Houses, okay, page, so that you get notified of the future event. As a matter of fact, just a plug to the next event that is going to come up in 2 weeks. It's May 16th. It's a Saturday, third week of the month. And we have a brilliant father and daughter team that is going to come and speak to all we Californians, okay? This is very timely because we pay so much tax on tax strategies, how you can save on taxes, especially people who have W-2, okay, how you can offset that income, okay, from other things that you do in real estate. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of glimpse, but just to whet out your appetite, be sure to come and check us out. And that event is going to be held in one of our short-term rentals here in town. So I broke it down into 5, and I'm going to just explain this with a case study. With a case study of this house, and this house actually is in the Bay Area, in Milpitas to be exact. That was back in 2000, I want to say 2010, okay? So let's take a look. Okay, so it was back in 2010. Bought this house in 2010, so it's 14 years ago, and I still own this house. So I was one of the 10 plus offers that got accepted, okay, by the seller. Property was actually a short sale, okay, from over $500,000 to eventually $305,000. You can get that nowadays, right? But the property is like way underwater. Back in 2008, 2010 time, where properties, because of subprime crisis, all these properties that were bought like on the way up, okay, their value got hit a lot on the way down in 2008, 2009. All these people that don't qualify, they have to give their house back to the lender. And as a result of that, there's an influx of inventory. And that resulted in price reduction of all these homes. So the house was worth $500,000 when the owner, the seller back then, couldn't hold on to it. So it was going through a short sale, and then it got appraised for about $200,000 less. So the property was way undervalued. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1240 square feet. So I bought it at $305,000. This is FHA with 5% down. That was back in 2010. So if you just look at it, 5% of that number is about $15,000. Okay, and then plus the closing fee and all that. So my total cash outlay was $20,000. Okay, 95% of this number is $290,000. Interest rate back then was 5.5%. Compared to now, okay, it's way low. But when I did it at the time, it was 5.5. But in 2011, 12, 13, and 14, going onward, the interest rate actually dropped. So there's actually a story behind this, which is we actually refied this a few times just to get the current rate right now. So PITI, principal, interest, tax, insurance, plus utilities, monthly, yeah, it's about $2,700. Okay, and then in addition to the $20,000 that I pay as part of the down payment to purchase this 4-bed, 2-bath house, okay, I also spent $25,000. What's the $25,000 spent on? It was spent on this really shiny flooring right here, kind of like hardwood, but it's not really. And this is vinyl, not laminate, because I want vinyl because it's waterproof. Okay, it's a little bit higher quality as well. We also spend it on remodeling or upgrading the bathrooms. Okay, this is the master bathroom. Okay, got a standing shower, brand new vanity. Okay, fresh paint, also brand new door. Okay, and also the tile floor. Okay, in the bathroom. So this is the master. I don't have the hallway there. We did the kitchen counter. Okay, so we laid the marble countertops in the kitchen. Okay, and we also changed the cabinets. Okay, so that's how we upgraded the kitchen over there. We replaced the appliances there, right? The range, the hood, as well as the dishwasher and so forth. And then we did major landscaping. We put in this front door, okay, with the brick walls and also this iron door. And also we did landscaping in the back, and we also resurfaced the sidewalk, okay, into the house, okay, and we also painted the front and the back yard of the house. Okay, so the total cash outlay, $20,000 down plus the $25,000 rehab, that brought us to $45,000. So let's just round it up to $50,000. That's my total cash outlay. Okay, so rent. Instead of renting out the entire house, I house hacked. Well, it's an FHA loan, so you have to live there. It's FHA loan is mainly for first-time home buyer, yeah, and the requirement is that it has to be a residence. So I live in the primary bedroom with my own bathroom, yeah, and that's important to me. And I have my office or my desk set up there to be my office. And I rented out the other 3 rooms. It's a 4-bedroom house, right? So I occupy 1 bedroom and the other 3 were occupied by my renters. And these renters, how did I get them? They're mainly my co-workers, and I believe I posted an ad on Craigslist, and that's how I got my roommates or housemates. The other rooms, and then I believe 1 person was from my church. So the other 3 rooms were rented at $800 per room per month. So how much is my rent or my mortgage obligation? Well, my rent is actually $300, believe it or not, because $2,700, that's the PITI plus utility, minus $800 times 3. I rented out those 3 rooms. So essentially, I just need to come up with $300, right, to pay my mortgage, because $2,400 is covered by my renter, $300 is covered by me. And that's as far as my mortgage obligation is concerned. So essentially, you can say that my rent is $300. Okay, so tell me where you can actually rent a property or room or a place to stay in the Bay Area for $300. Obviously, this is way different now, but I just want to tell you this, that, hey, if I can do it in the Bay Area, obviously time is a factor. You can also do it now, okay, in the Bay Area. And I'm going to explain to you how you can go about doing this and really just scale from there. All right. So house was up in value. First time it was up to, I don't know exactly when, but maybe a year and a half ago, house pricing actually shoot up. So the first time it went up to 475. And the second time was 590. And that's when I did the refi the first time. And the second time, and I just pull out a whole bunch of money. And then the third time, it's the last time I checked, this house is worth $1.15 million. Okay, so I refi a few times. Right, first time it was 20% of the 475, so or 380,000. Yeah, and the second time was 20% of the 590, or $472,000. I ended up settling 0.125%, which is tremendous. Consider nowadays the rate is 7% or more. Okay, so let's go to the next one. First time refi, 20% of the 475, that's $380,000. My mortgage balance back then was $290, so I got paid. Okay, notice that I say I got paid $90,000, right, to buy my house. Why'd you say that I got paid $90,000? Well, think about it, right? So you do $290, okay, and then it's just the difference of $380, which was the new loan balance plus the previous loan balance. So there's a $90,000 difference. My cash outlay when I did the purchase and remodel the first time was $50,000 altogether. So the $90,000 minus 50, you actually netted, or you actually got paid, right, for $90,000 to buy a house. Okay, so tell me where you can actually get paid to buy something. Okay, it doesn't really happen, but because of the valuation, and I'm not saying that you can't do it now. It's just harder because I think we have actually peaked. But if you time it right, and I think back then we can all say that, hey, we were just lucky. We were able to capture or catch that time, and it was like the best time of, I guess, my life. But I know that the previous generation, they have suffered a recession. They got hit really bad back in 2008. I come in just the right time when it's almost down there, or it's like at the very bottom. and we were able to capture the opportunity there. All right. And still to this day, talking about one of the 10 plus offers, right, that got accepted. Why me? Why not the other people, right? So it was a very competitive landscape. It got even more competitive later on. But, I was one of the 10 plus offers that got accepted. So it's just a lot of things are just meant to be. But then the thing is, you have to cooperate. God operates to your cooperation. So had I not turned an offer or submitted an offer, this would not have happened. So I would say for people who are looking to buy their first house, is you got to put in the work, which is to underwrite deals. If you know how to underwrite, means analyze deals, and then you got to write offers. If you're not a licensed realtor, make sure that you have a investor-friendly realtor on your side that can help you write offers and really help you comp these properties right, so you can actually buy these properties at a discount. All right, so that's that. So repeat. Okay, so can you still do it now? Okay, so it comes to the last R, repeat. Yes, but for FHA, you can only do it once, right, to buy your primary single family residence. So do it for at least one house, which is your primary residence. Okay, and then you can always refi. What I did was, when I refi, okay, I actually refi into a conventional loan. So I just reclaimed that FHA eligibility. Yeah, so you can consider doing this not just for your primary home, but you can do it for rentals. Back in 2010, that's what I did for all my properties in Memphis. Is I will buy at 65% ARV, and I will use a hard money lender that would lend me the 65%. Okay, that's kind of like their criteria back then, is 65% LTV, and then you will remodel it, and for 10% of the ARV. So for $100,000 house, you will pay $10,000. Okay, and then you will rent it, okay, to offset the mortgage. And obviously, when it's all stabilized, they can give you a 75% ARV using a DSCR loan. And so what I mean here is that the rent will have to cover, depends on what the DSCR. The ratio is usually the lender is looking at 1.1 or 1.2. So what that means is that, hey, for $1,200 rent house, or a house that you collect $1,200, okay, for DSCR 1.2, that means that the debt, PITI in this case, property tax or principal, interest, tax, and insurance cannot exceed $1,000. So that's a 1.2 there. So 1.1, that means that it cannot exceed $1,100. California is a bit different. In the coastal states, they can go as low as 1%, okay, or even lower. So what that means is, if you just like break even, right, if your rent is $1,200 and your debt, okay, PITI, mortgage payment is $1,200, they're okay with that. In some cases, they go down as low as 0.85. So you're kind of upside down or bleeding every month. But I guess the reason that these lenders are okay to do it, and they're more risk prone in these coastal states, is the real estate actually appreciate over time way faster than states in the middle of the country. All right, so you can do it again, and then the way you do it is you would buy at 65% and then just cash flow. And then when you do it this way, and obviously the numbers have to be right, is if you can just buy it at 65% ARV. And back then, there's a lot of houses that were getting sold for like 35% or more discount of value, fair market value, right? So if you buy those, essentially you're just paying nothing down, because everything that you see here, the 75% of ARV, if you do it right, is you get 25% of equity of every single house that you purchase with nothing out of your own pocket. Okay, so can you still do it right now? It's harder because the current interest rate is making it so hard to do so. So a lot of people are doing this, is they consider doing subject to. I did do an extensive video on this subject with a case study. So feel free to look at that video there. So I just recently purchased 2 properties with subject to. One is under 3%. The other is about 3.67%. They're in California. Okay. The other thing that you want to consider is, hey, can you actually do it in California? Okay. So I want to go back to rent. So you can house hack and you can do long-term rental, right? And you can also do short-term rental. And the reason that I brought up short-term rental there is that's probably the only way that's doable here in California, because you just don't get that rent to income ratio or rent to value ratio that you typically would get, like the 1% rule. For a $100,000 house, you need to get at least $1,000 rent or more, right? So in California, a $500,000 house, you need to get $5,000 or more rent, but it's actually less than that, probably 0.5% at the very most, and some are even like lower than that. So it doesn't really work. So for you to actually break that barrier or to achieve the 1%, you do short-term rental instead of long-term rental. For a typical long-term rental, right, in California, $500,000 house, you probably can charge $2,500. But short-term rental, you can do it 1.5 to 2x of that money. So you'll hit that 1% just fine with a short-term rental there. All right, so that just kind of wraps up what I want to talk about on BRRRR. Yeah. Buy, rehab, rent, repeat, refi, and repeat. Just to wrap this up is a plug to my local mastermind, the purpose of which is to keep the members accountable to each other. We do research and development on what works, and we build off of each other's network of real estate professionals. And if there's leads that we bring to the forefront in the mastermind, we try to also, hey, if we can sell it, we can dispose it. We try to help each other to monetize these leads. Qualification is you must be prospecting, doing deals already preferably, and you must be able to meet weekly, because we do have a weekly meeting that happens at 8 on Monday morning. No ego, please. And please check out your ego at the door. And it's a $100 financial commitment per month. We have 8 people. It's actually 8 people right now, and we're looking for more. Okay, we meet every week, and I do bring in speakers on different topics of real estate. We have people that speak on short-term rental, multifamily investing, marketing, cold calling, right? And we're going to bring in more speakers so that we can add more value to the mastermind members. Okay, so do contact me if you're interested, and this is some freebies for you. You can follow me on these social media channels. Okay, Insightful Kevin Lee. I do have a YouTube channel, TikTok, Facebook, and then LinkedIn. Okay, this is my company, and there's some freebies for you. You can Google this, and this is on our website, these 3 articles. Okay, and then do make sure that you follow us on Facebook, and this is our Facebook handle, so you know the next networking event that is going to take place. And if you have a podcast, you run a podcast, if you have a tribe, a meetup, or you just want to pick my brain, you can invite me. Okay, so I'd be happy to speak to your group on your podcast, or just for you to pick my brain. And let's just see how we can help each other, add value to each other's business. I specialize in real estate. I'm very good at it. And make sure that you do capture this QR code here so you can be added to our newsletter that go out every week. All right, until next time, peace out. Have a great day today. Bye.